Good morning. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I'm a blessing to the world.
Thank you so much, Jen, for starting us off on this fabulous weekend, Labor Day weekend, with a beautiful song. And welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. Looks like we may have some friends traveling this weekend, and that's okay. I'm so glad that each of you are here, and for those watching virtually, we're so happy to have you join us. I do have a quote here from Pearl Buck: "To find joy in work is to discover the fountain of youth." What do you think of that? Yeah. So let's begin with an opening prayer. I invite you to join me as we settle in, letting go of anything that might keep us from recognizing the presence of God here and now. Any thoughts that distract us, any to-do lists, just becoming fully present in the presence. I open my heart and I open my mind to that activity of spirit within. I am willing to change, to grow, to laugh, to expand my consciousness. I give thanks for this day, being able to gather together. I give thanks for this community, this life, for all the workers in America whom we're celebrating this weekend, for the workers of the world, the gifts they share. And so it is. Amen. I invite you to join me in our, wait a second, something can't happen on my screen, not on that screen. Okay, there we go. In our vision statement, together, Unity of Hagerstown exists to inspire awakening to the divine within and honor the sacred in all. And now if you'll join me in our mission statement together. As a beloved community, we create a sacred space that empowers spiritual growth and ignites compassionate action. And now we'll have the reading of the daily word with Helen. Mama Shu.
Hello? Got it. Good. Today's word is healing, and this is a slightly different reading on the topic of healing. A teacher asked students to draw self-portraits surrounded by rays of sunshine and swords radiating from their hearts. The rays represented uplifting words. The swords symbolized hurtful ones. This exercise powerfully illustrated that words can heal or hurt. Today, I commit to using words that affirm my divinity. I receive these sentiments into my heart, acknowledging their truth. I release any words that do not uplift me. I heal myself by using words of kindness and encouragement. I will also be mindful of the way I speak to others, choosing words that soothe, strengthen, and affirm. I honor the light within everyone and help to create a healthy, compassionate world. And the scripture is from Proverbs 4. My child, be attentive to my words. Do not let them escape from your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them and healing to all their flesh. Please join me with the affirmation on the screen. I use uplifting words to support my healing. Take that in. Let it settle. And again, I use uplifting words to support my healing.
Thank you, Helen. And now we have a time to greet one another with a handshake, a hug, a namaste, whatever your preference is. And if you want to, come over here and wave to those who are watching us virtually. And I have an assignment for those who are watching virtually. Please leave a comment and say hello to each other. And I will respond to each comment that you leave. Thank you so much. Let's greet each other.
Oh, hi.
You are?
Jennifer.
I lost my name too.
Oh, it's okay.
My shoes say Bob. Couldn't I just tell people
You could.
that my name's Bob?
You could. That's fair.
On the way home, you say, "Did you meet Bob?" I say, "No, I think your name's really Roberta."
I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. And it hurts, but I know that I'm growing. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light, but it's only through darkness the knowing. And if you come through, I'll mirror you. are showing. And if you come through, I'll mirror you as someone who's on the journey, because I see you and your light. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. And it hurts, but I know that I'm growing. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light. But it's only through darkness and knowing. And if you come through, I'll mirror you and give you the love you are showing. And if you come through, I'll mirror you as someone who's on the journey, because I see you and your light. I see you, I know you're growing. I see you through darkness, knowing. I see you, I know you're growing. I see you through darkness, knowing. I see you, I know you're growing. I see you through darkness, knowing. And if you come through, I'll mirror you and give you the love you are showing. And if you come through, I'll mirror you as someone who's on the journey, because I see you and your light. I see you and your light.
I don't think there could have been a more perfect song for today. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Jen. Absolutely wonderful, because we are going to continue on with our series on the shadow. But first I want to tell you a story. Not much of a story, but it's a little one. A few years ago, more than a few, but we'll just say it's a few years ago, I was living at a place that had a metal shed, you know, the kind of little flimsy metal sheds. And we got a lot of snow that winter, and the snow kept piling up on the roof of the shed. And then I looked out, and the shed was inverted, right? So I go out there, and I kind of sweep the snow off, and I peer inside the door of the shed, and there's no window, so it's dark, and it's crowded and uncomfortable. Call up a friend. I said, do you think we can pop the roof back up? And we did. We just popped it right back up. And to me, this is like such a metaphor for shadow work, because we're invited to go into those dark, uncomfortable places and return to wholeness, right? So shadow work, just to refresh our memory, is really looking at aspects of ourselves that we'd rather not. We kind of set them aside. We don't want to own them. Jung tells us our shadow is the person we would rather not be. It's the unacceptable, what we might think of unacceptable thoughts or beliefs or behaviors, or things that we are too embarrassed to own. You know, maybe Maybe it's not necessarily a bad quality, but something that's positive that we just don't want to own about ourselves. We don't think we're worthy about it. Debbie Ford, who did so much good work on the shadow, had the Ford Institute that she founded, and it tells us that if we want to radically reinvent our lives, be all that we can be, and turn the tide on mediocrity, playing it safe and settling, then we must run toward the aspects of ourselves that we fear and have shame around instead of running away. It is only when we have the courage to face ourselves exactly as we are right now, without any self-deception or illusion, that we will have the ability to give ourselves everything that we desire and deserve in this lifetime. So, by not doing this shadow work, we often end up self-sabotaging, So just putting it out there, this is important stuff to do. So last week we looked at the spiral of spiritual growth, and this is spiritual work, shadow work is, so I'm going to review that real quick and then we'll move on. So the spiral kind of looks like this. The graphic isn't perfect, but that's the best I could do. We start at a level, the old level it's called. We get a cosmic 2x4, or maybe just a divine discontent, an impetus to change, something that is inviting us to grow. We are able to then release the old consciousness, the old beliefs, and move into another phase along this spiral of transcend. We learn new tools for the new consciousness that is coming forth. It's a time of great creativity, time of great energy. We have freed up all the energy from the old level and are exploring ways to move into that new one. We move then into the include phase of this spiral, in which we look back to that old level and maybe reframe a belief. Maybe the belief as we were looking at it wasn't serving us well, but if we reframe it to our the new consciousness, it can serve us well. And that's when we reach that new level. So this spiral of growth happens in all aspects of our lives, all at the same time. There might be different, different phases of growth through, your relationships, through your health, through your finances, through self-care, through self-worth. It's happening, okay? And I share this model of it so that we can know that once we release the old beliefs, we actually do come into a time of creativity and energy, so that we can know, in order to reach that higher, I don't want to say that, I'll just say it anyway, but higher consciousness, if you will, that we have to go back, we have to look back and transform those old beliefs into something that will serve us now. In other words, we don't throw the baby out with the wash water, right? Okay. So Ernest Holmes tells us there is an inner urge in our own minds to grow, to expand, to break down the barriers of previous limitations, and to ever widen our experience. This persistent urge is a divine influence, an irresistible force, and constitutes the greatest impulse in human experience. So don't resist that urge to grow, to be more. The universe is always inviting us to expand our consciousness, our awareness, and to express more love, more peace, more wisdom. So I want to look today at the conditions necessary for transformation to happen. To shift consciousness requires us to be intentional about it. It doesn't just happen. We have to be purposeful, if you will. Holmes does tell us that the word purposeful might be defined in general terms as the very antithesis of aimlessness. It is the spirit of significance, a commingling of desire and determination, an inner recognition of the divine urge. That restless feeling you have, that divine discontent, is Spirit inviting us to grow so we can become purposeful about it. Boyd, the author of the book that we're basing this series on, Dark Matters, Discovering Wholeness in the Shadow, tells us intentional change requires us to invest a great deal of energy, physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. If we are struggling just to meet our basic needs, we may not have that energy available. The best way to increase our stability and to free up energy is to engage in regular spiritual practice. Okay, so intentionality. I invite you to affirm with me. Together, I have the power to be intentional in my growth. Let's not leave it to luck, okay? Let's be purposeful about growing spiritually and emotionally, intellectually. Yes. So the 6 conditions to change. Now, remember, all this shadow work is to have an integrated wholeness so that we can integrate all aspects of ourselves, the human expression, the divine expression as well. And I'm getting these conditions for change from the book, who actually got them from Don Beck, who did a lot of work on spiral dynamics, just for those who are interested. Okay, so the first condition, and we'll expound on this a little bit later, but the first condition is having the potential to change. Am I willing, do I have an open heart, an open mind for this change? The second condition is solutions. At my current level of living, am I making it work okay for me? Okay, do I have the solutions for this level? The third condition is dissonance. That is when our life is out of alignment with our beliefs. Okay, that's one way to put it. And then barriers. Am I willing to look at the barriers that are keeping me from changing? Or else, if we're not willing to look at them, we're not going to change. And then insight. What Beck calls insight is really going within and getting guidance from that spirit, activity of spirit within. And then support. Do I have a support system in place to change, to help me change? So, as I said, we're going to cover each of these a little bit more. We're going to start with potential. So we must have that potential, that willingness within to change our hearts, our minds. We must be open to change, willing to leave what is known into the unknown, even though it's scary at times. Beck has an acronym, CAVE, a CAVE person, for Citizens Against Virtually Everything. And sometimes we're all that, okay? Sometimes we don't want to change. As Boyd said in the previous quote, if we haven't mastered the level we're on, we're not going to be able to change, because there's something there still for us to do, something for us to learn. So sometimes we just don't have the time or energy to change. It may be all we can do just to keep the wolves at bay, so to speak. And there are times when we're just not feeling open. We kind of dig our heels in. I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to change. I don't want to change my diet. Anyway, and sometimes there's just areas in our life where we're just flat out unwilling. But when we get that invitation from from the universe, whether it's a cosmic 2x4 or divine discontent, if we're feeling courageous and can recognize that this is a gift, a golden opportunity to grow, then we can perhaps become more open and willing. So Laurie Boyd tells us through our spiritual practices, once again, spiritual practices, we learn to break down the barriers between the relative and the absolute. We learn to accept and love all parts of ourselves. We learn to stop labeling things as good or bad. They simply are. We learn that the thoughts we hold inform what our experience will be. We learn to reclaim our shadow. So spiritual practices they are very, very integral to this work. And Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, considered prayer, which is a spiritual practice, to be the fastest way to change our minds, to shift consciousness. So I'll just put it out there. Through affirmative prayer and meditation, we increase our awareness of the divine within and develop really a heightened sense of intuition, too. So we also are able, through our practices, to take a step back, get removed from whatever might be currently distracting us. We're able to take a step back from it. So we're going on to the next condition needed for change. We have to have solutions at our current level of living before we're able to move on. If I were hoping for a promotion, but I hadn't mastered the job I have, chances are I'm not going to get the promotion, right? It's kind of the same thing, but it's all interior work. This is all inner work that we're talking about. So if there's any unfinished business at our current level, this is not the time to change. It's time to finish up the business, to learn what we need to learn or to deal with. Our attempts to move on, to grow without finishing that business on our current level would be considered a spiritual bypass. It's a way of avoiding ourselves, really. It's kind of a way of running away. So we know that unfinished business is just going to return at some point. What we resist persists. So the third condition necessary is that feeling of dissonance, which is uncomfortable, but as I said, it comes when conditions in our life are out of alignment or in conflict with what we are believing is to be true, and when we are out of integrity in some area. We experience dissonance sometimes when we're using the old tools that worked up to a point on a more complex problem. So again, it's not an outward fix. This is an inner work. The new relationship, the new job is not going to fix anything, although it may be fun for a while. I used to think that a geographical change would solve all my problems, right? Geographical cure, but wherever I go, there I am, right? Okay. Boyd tells us our first instinct when experiencing dissonance is to try to identify and fix the external circumstances that must be causing it. Interestingly, the external circumstance itself is not what causes the feeling of dissonance. The feeling is caused by our reaction to the circumstance because we try to use old ways of being in response to higher level problems. Okay, so our next condition for change is barriers, a willingness to look at that which is blocking us. It could be internal, it could seem to be external, but all barriers to spiritual growth have roots within us. The key, as Boyd says, is to discover those barriers and question them. If anybody's familiar with the work of Byron Katie, this is where it would be very handy. I got another quote for this one. All barriers to internal transformation trace back to some internal belief we are holding about ourselves. The key to transformation is a willingness to discover what those barriers are and question them. So it's something within us, some belief that we have. Usually, it's maybe not usually, but often it is an unworthiness issue, or we're not loving ourselves, So our next condition is insight, that ability to hear that still small voice, our higher self, that part of us that is one with the divine and has access to infinite wisdom. It's illuminating each step of the way when we become still and quiet and hear that guidance within. And we have to be quiet with that to hear it usually, at least quieting our thoughts enough to be able to hear that voice. And then we have to trust that this is ours to do, it can be hard. But again, regular spiritual practices can help us quiet that cacophony in our minds in order to hear our higher self. It teaches us how to listen and open up to that flow of ideas that's always there. Boyd tells us, though, a divine idea does no good if we don't act on it. At some point, we must take a step of pure courage, and each time we do, our ability to trust this inner voice grows. So at some point, we decide to act on the guidance, that insight that we received. We develop a stronger faith. We develop trust in that inner guidance. Boyd has shared a practice whenever the voice of her inner critic gets too loud and too bossy. She takes a deep breath, centers herself in oneness, and just says, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Let's try that now. Let's just take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you want to so you're not distracted. Maybe place your hand on your heart and just say, I trust myself. Silently, I trust myself. So that's a practice that we can do at any time. We can learn to trust the guidance within. And then the final condition necessary for transformation is love and support. Our elder brother in Matthew 13 tells us this parable of a farmer who went out to sow his seed. And as he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path and birds came along and ate it. Some fell on rocky places where the soil was thin and the seed sprang up quickly, but because it couldn't develop deep roots, when the sun came out, they were fried. And other seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them out. But other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 30 times what was sown. This parable can be used for many things, but today let's think of that good soil as the love and support that we have in our lives. This during a time of transformation, it's a time we may be sowing a lot of seeds. Not all of them are going to thrive because we're feeling our way into a new belief or how to live that new belief. It's a time that some of our attempts may be clumsy at first. For instance, if I took a workshop from Adair on deep listening, which she has offered before, my attempts to listen deeply from my heart space may not be, as deep as I would want them to be at times. It takes a while to learn the behavior to match our beliefs. So during this period, which would be the transcend time, we can be gentle with ourselves, knowing that we're still learning. We can surround ourselves with love and support. Boyd tells us, because we surround ourselves with love and support, we are able to use our painful experiences for our own growth. The experience doesn't cause us to grow. The experience happens, and we choose to use it as an opportunity for growth. We choose to move through the experience with an open heart and mind and learn. So we all need support at times. I couldn't have lifted the shed of the roof without the help of a friend, whether it's a friend, family, a therapist, spiritual community. We need to reach out at times if we need to, not be afraid to. We're made to work in community, I believe. There's a story about Vince Lombardi. I figured football season was starting, I'd give you a football story. And for those of you who may not remember or know, he was a very famous coach for the Green Bay Packers. And during a practice game, things were not going well for his team, and he was not happy. He was evidently a pretty volatile character and didn't hesitate to yell at the players. And he was yelling at one of the guards and says, "You're not tackling, you're not blocking." I don't know what else guards do. "You're not doing your job." Let's put it that way. And the guard kind of dropped his head, feeling, I guess, embarrassed about it. And Vince told him, "Go home, go take a shower, just leave." And so the guard walked into the locker room, and when Vince came in 45 minutes later, the guard was still there, still in his uniform, and there were tears in his eyes. Vince, of course, did a pretty quick about face and went over to him and he said, "You know, I told you the truth. You're a pretty lousy football player. You're not blocking, you're not tackling, you're not doing your job. However, in all fairness to you, I should have finished the story. Inside of you, there is a great football player, and I'm going to stick by your side until that great football player inside of you has a chance to come out." And with these words, Jerry Kramer, who you may recognize, felt a great deal better. In fact, he felt so much better. He went on to become one of the all-time greats in football and was voted the all-time guard for the first 50 years of professional football and inducted into the Football Hall of Fame. I am not recommending Lombardi's methods to anybody. I'm just saying we need support in our life, so we don't have to hesitate to ask for it if we need it. Kramer had the potential to change within him. You know, he was open and willing because he was able to change. He had successfully navigated college football. He had the solutions for that, the old level of living. The dissonance was coming because he wasn't playing at a professional level like everyone was believing, himself included, believed that he should be playing. It was evident that he was able to gain insight and use the support of Lombardi to move into the direction of greatness. And Lombardi was the support that he needed, along with other people, I'm sure. But who is your support network? Family, friends, members of this community, professionals that you may see. We're going to move into a time of reflection, followed by a time of meditation. And this is going to be based from this book. So let's go ahead and get comfortable. And we'll move through these conditions to change. Looking at those. So think of an area in your life where you're feeling that nudge to grow. Or maybe you're feeling the cosmic 2x4. There is some impetus for change. See what comes up for you. And then I invite you to center yourselves in awareness of oneness. And from the perspective of your higher self, just ask if you have the energy you need to begin a process of transformation. And if not, are there steps that can be taken to free up that energy? Is there something I need to learn from this current level? Business I need to take care of? Is there any unfinished business where I am? And centering yourselves once more, ask for just one step that you can take to move towards finishing the business. And even if it's scary, make a commitment to take that step. Consider the dissonance you may be experiencing. Maybe there are beliefs or stories that you tell yourself about yourself, or stories that others told you that you are still carrying that no longer serve you. And consider these beliefs and stories that no longer serve, and centering once more in oneness, intentionally release these beliefs and stories. Let go of those barriers. Having released these beliefs, ask for your new higher truth. Allow yourself to become still and listen for that still small voice. Intentionally open to the flow of divine ideas. Trust yourself. Determined to take the step in the direction of this new truth. And then consider your support network. Who provides you with loving support? Do you need to expand your network? Does asking for love and support feel scary? Can you ask anyway? Now look at the people in your life and see if you can identify any who maybe experience this invitation to change. Maybe it's a cosmic 2x4. And see if you're willing to give them the love and support they may need. And identify one step that you are willing to do to support them. Now allow your body to relax a little bit more, allowing the seat to support you, your breathing to deepen. And on your next inhalation, allow your attention to follow that breath in to the very core of your being. And exhale. On the next inhalation, follow the breath in into infinite oneness. Romans 12:2 tells us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Open your mind and your heart to that presence that is wisdom, that is love. Know that you are wisdom. You are love. It pours forth through you, from you, and as you, in every moment of your life, through every experience. It is what makes you strong and gentle and wise. Now for a moment in this quiet, experience the wisdom and love that you are. Be the love and support that you may need in the silence. And as we bring this meditation to a close, I invite Jen to come up with our next song.
this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. It's a love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And in this place, while we're still centered in that infinite love, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes once more. I'm going to read the offertory prayer, but I want you to experience it, to really feel it. The true income of this church is the undiminished flow of Spirit. Imagine that flow of Spirit constantly flowing through you, as you, for you, with you. Through each person here, each person who comes into this door. This income manifests in a pattern of steady growth of love, faith, and finances. Again, feel that steady growth of love in your heart, faith, and finances. We open to and bless the flow of Spirit and gratefully give and receive the bounty of heaven here and now. We give and we receive, and we are grateful. Thank you, God. Amen. And while the offering's being taken, I'll invite Jen to sing another song.
So actually, I'm going to invite us all to become the choir for this song. So there's part 1, part 2, and part 3. If about approximately this half of the room would do part 1, I'll get you started. And then this half, part 2. And I'm going to sing part 3. And then once we get going, you can sing whatever you like. Become the choir. All right. Do a little intro first. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. Part 1. Love, 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 love. You got it? Keep going. Love, 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 love. Yeah, I hear ya. Love, 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 love. part 2. Keep going. We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. Yeah, keep going. Nice. Don't be afraid to sing out. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. I love it. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. Love, 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 love. People, we are made for love. Love each other as yourselves, for we are one. We are one. We are one.
Beautiful arrangement. Love that. And the choir sounded great, too. Okay, we do have a few announcements today. We are still continuing with our book study, Dark Matters. You can join us at any time. It's on Zoom on Wednesdays, although at this point you'd have to have read at least like pretty much all of the book. But that's okay, you can still do it. And then on Wednesday here in the Fellowship Center is the sound bath at 6 p.m., which means we need to move the chairs today after service. So if you're willing to help with that, that's great. The other activities listed are recurring. Well, sound bath is too, but it's with New Sabrina, so I wanted to just make sure that you guys knew that. New Sabrina. Okay, the walk and talk is meeting on Saturdays at 9 o'clock. We walk, we talk. It's weather dependent. Yeah. I mean, October is pretty nice, so, yeah. Yeah, and then the first Sunday, of course, we have breakfast with the beloved community and children, the first and third Sundays of each month. Thank you so much, Kathy. And that's it. There we go. Although we do have a couple save the dates. Why isn't, there we go. Okay. Oh, did I skip over something? Yes, Dances of Universal Peace, I'm so sorry. And that's on the 14th, second Sunday of September. And the Interfaith Progressive Dinner, flyers for all of that are in the foyer for more information. Both really wonderful activities. Okay, so save the date. Unity from the Inside Out is like a basic class on unity required for all members if you want to become a member here, or if you just want to refresh your mind on what the basic unity principles are. We'll be going over them. It is a free class. Lunch is included, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Just do it all in one day. 5 principles. We can do it. The women's retreat is October 17th through 19th. There is a flyer for that as well. It's limited beds, so if you're interested, register early, okay? Thank you so much. And at this point, we're going to say goodbye to our virtual friends. We love you. We bless you. We see the light that you are. Thank you for being part of this community.